Hi, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, one of the things that I find that's really important on trying to fit in with this strange, to us, strange culture and country and nation of people, and that is that it's a great help if you can have a support team of your own people. So I've been very fortunate in this way because I've been able to make contact with, coincidentally, a friend, has become a friend, a fellow blogger, and he was actually born in the same town as I was, in Manchester in the UK. So we have a lot in common, especially sense of humour, because Mancunians are known for having a rather dry sense of humour, so we get all the same jokes. But that's Michael, and he is actually a New Zealander now. He's a New Zealander in the same way that I'm an American. He went to New Zealand when I went to America, and he built his life there. And strangely, the strange way that fate works, he met his wife there. His wife is a Filipina, Bonnie, and between Bonnie and Mike, they have come over here and are in the process of building a life. Now, one of the things that is of interest with Mike, apart from the fact that we meet once a week, whatever happens, we meet once a week, and we go and we have an American breakfast at a local cafe. American breakfast meaning bacon, egg, and in our case, French fries. So we meet and we're able to talk in our own language, in our own humour, in our own vein of humour, and that's a big help for keeping grounded. And so I was talking to him, actually I was talking to him last Sunday, because we went to the Village of Hope, and we went there and we were standing there watching the Filipinos, and we turned to each other almost at the same time and remarked how happy the people were. Now, this is not something to be taken for granted, because when you come here as a foreigner, you will find that there are many changes to be made, as I've said on almost every video that I've ever made about getting along in a new culture. And whatever criticisms that I hear of the Filipino people, the one thing that always seems to be missed to me is their ability to be happy. And if you think about this, the pursuit of the American dream, to be happy, and yet in America and in the West generally, this gets kind of mixed up with all things materialistic. In other words, it depends on how big a house you have, how well paid your job is, how you can go for vacations whenever you want, or things like this. And it usually gets tied up with money. And in the Philippines, it's not tied up with money in the same way. And Mike and I both talk about this whenever we meet, usually once a week on a Sunday. And we're talking, and during the course of that conversation, we touched on Mike's own personal story. Now, Mike's own personal story is a tribute to the fact that we as humans can accommodate such incredible changes in our lives. Our lives are adventures which are unfolding, is how I like to think about it. And Mike and his wife Bonnie, their story, they went to part, I believe, of the family inheritance of Bonnie, where they bought a parcel of land which was in hills and valleys and very beautiful, and they had a vision of making small chalets and having it as a retreat where people could come and commune. It's not a white beach. It's not a white beach resort, but it is a place that offers great peace. But it was strange because that was not, it was a wonderful dream, a wonderful vision, and one which they were very excited to pursue. And then something happened. Now, you have to imagine that Zamora, which is their farm, Zamora is set in, as I said, hills and valleys, and as their house, which they were in the process of building, their house looks out, obviously, with so much idyllic scenery, they were determined to have this incredible view, which they did. And it looked out onto this collection of valleys where all of the hills intersect and they all come down like this. And his wife called to him one day and said, "Michael, I think you should come and look at this." And he said, "Yes, dear, I'll be out in a minute." "No, no," Bonnie said, "I think you should come and look at it now." And he said, "Look, if it's okay with you, I'd like to finish having my shave." And she said, "I think you should come and look at it. We've got a lake." "Yes, Bonnie, we've got a lake. It arrived overnight, okay? I'll be out in a minute." She said, "Get out here now." And when he went out, and sure enough, they had a lake, and it was a pretty big lake. Well, it didn't happen literally overnight like that, but compared to the magnitude of a lake suddenly appearing out your back door, it was overnight. And what they of course learned then was that it was part of a dam that had been built and had been put into operation, and it filled the area that was designated as like a natural reservoir. And so this kind of changed everything. So now that they had a lake, they thought in terms of having kayaks and having people stay as they were, and they could go boating on the lake. It was a wonderful vision. And Beth and I actually went to see Zamora for the first time after this lake had appeared, and it was beautiful. Beth and I consider that we live in an idyllic place. We look out in almost every direction, 360 degrees, turning around. We can see a wonderful view of rolling hills and mountains stretching away out into and onto the horizon. And it really is an incredible place. And but Zamora was one place where I said to Beth, you know, this is the first time that I've been to another place, another property owned by friends, that I've thought, wow, I could happily live here. Well, you would think that that was the end of a wonderful story, that they went on and they did what they had to do. But Zamora is a place that is, in a strange way, is magical, because it changed again. 5 months and virtually no rain later saw the virtual disappearance of their beautiful lake. So now they find themselves looking at different opportunities, and different dreams are emerging. But it's just incredible how this country of the Philippines, difficult to call it this country as if it's just one, because the Philippines is composed of over 7,000 islands, and they are all unique in their way. And the island that we live on, Bohol, is no different. It is a great, incredible place with appearing and disappearing lakes. Okay, and Mike and Bonnie are now in the middle of doing a different kind of dream, which no doubt will be appearing on their site. They have built a really lovely house, but they've also built what they call the cottage, which is slightly away from the house, and it gives a different sense of peace. So if you go to their site, which I expect you've been saying, yeah, well, where is it? It's an expat living in the Philippines. So if you type that in on YouTube, you'll go to their site, and you can go there. Mike is very dry in his humour, which, if that's your kind of humour, you'll be well at home there. So please go to their site and have a look, and like, and you can comment on their site, like and comment and subscribe, which would be terrific, and I would consider that that was a good deed well done. So over to you, Mike, and your ever-changing paradise, Zamora. Okay, so an expat living in the Philippines. Go there and have a look. You'll be enchanted, as I was. Bye for now.